In order for it to be any kind of homicide type of statute, there has to be some either kind of intent or wanton reckless disregard. I think this is a tragic, tragic accident. It does kind of look like a martial arts kick.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, coming to you with my pearl-handled pistol cufflinks, so graciously gifted to me by our content genius, Michael Rivers, the guy behind the camera, the guy behind the ideas, the guy behind this board-certified criminal defense lawyer. So today we were reacting to the tragic death of Adam Johnson. Adam Johnson was a Minnesota boy, grew up in Hibbing, Minnesota, right here in Minnesota where I'm from, and was killed in a very tragic accident. We're going to get into that in a minute. But this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com, a very effective way to remotely do business. The thing about it is the speed at which you can do business sometimes really matters. And eSign, you're able to instantly sign an agreement. I use it all the time for powers of attorney, for retainer agreements, getting medical records, but you can use it for just about anything. All you have to do is download the app. You get 3 free signatures a month. It's just an effective way to remotely do business. Why anybody would hand sign a regular document nowadays when you have eSign is just beyond me. So eSign.com, if it's not eSign, no one signs. All right, let's talk about my understanding is that there's an inquiry going on in England about this death. This is really tragic how this happened. And we'll talk about the various issues surrounding violence in sports. So you can see that he gets just kicked by this other player. And then he's just bleeding. So apparently I think what happened was he gets sliced in his neck by the other guy's skate. Now, there's a couple of different things going on. Let's talk about civil versus criminal first of all. If would his family have any kind of wrongful death or some kind of claim against him? Possibly, but there's also a thing called assumption of risk. Hockey by itself is a very violent game. You'd agree with that. You see people fighting all the time. But if we watch what really happened, here we can slow it down. So we slow it down. Now there's no fight or anything. It's just a regular play. Adam Johnson's got the puck, and you see the player kind of is in front of the player that ultimately winds up hurting Mr. Johnson. So there's no and he's off balance. But it looks. If you slow it down, it looks like it's like almost a martial arts kick, but it really isn't. And then his reaction right afterwards is, he's skating up to him, making sure he's okay. In order for it to be any kind of, homicide type of statute, there has to be some either kind of intent or wanton reckless disregard. And we just don't have that here. There has to be culpable negligence. And that's what manslaughter is. Culpable negligence means that you are doing something so risky, so dangerous, that's likely to cause death or great bodily harm, and you don't give a shit what you're doing, and you're not intending to cause a death, but you don't really care if you do or not. You have a reckless disregard for somebody else's safety. An inherently dangerous activity. What are they doing here? They're playing hockey here. His leg goes up. Let's play it again. See, his leg goes up, and he just happens to hit him right at the neck at the most perfect time. And look when he gets up. Look at all the blood right away on the ice. And this is in Nottingham, South Yorkshire in England. And then he goes to the hospital and he dies at the hospital. They stop the game, and the cops are looking into it. But I find it hard to believe that anything more is going to come out of it. But let's talk about violence in sports, because we see that all the time, right? And you never hear about anybody getting charged. Let's say that was intentional. Let's say he sliced his neck open intentionally. Would that be a crime? You're damn right it would be. Just because they're on the ice doesn't mean that you can't commit an assault. Let's talk about football, for example. They hit each other on every play, right? Well, that's part of the game. But once the play is over, if somebody's trying to beat the shit out of somebody else, that is assault. Even though you're at a game. And you see in hockey games all the time people fighting. You see them drop their gloves and they let them do it. It's part of the game.
Old time here, no doubt about it. They both
But is it really? It's not really. Or how about a bench clearing brawl in a baseball game?
In here, Nagowski and Stroman, both dugouts, bullpens are.
Those are all assaults, but they don't get charged out. Why don't they get charged out? It's because it's kind of implicit in kind of part of the game. Should it be? Probably not. This is just a trash, and you hear these tragedies all the time, especially hockey. Hockey, I think, is probably, first of all, I think they have the most fit athletes, and then they're going fast, and we had a guy here locally that got paralyzed going headfirst into the boards. There's an inherent risk. But when you get violent, aggressive, assaultive behavior, what's the remedy? Just kicking them out of the game? I remember there was a time, oh my God, this was hilarious, where the Boston Bruins, we'll show you a clip of this, the Boston Bruins, they got all pissed off at their fans and they climbed into the stands, started beating the shit out of their fucking fans.
Are going over, Gilbert is in there, Peter McNabb. They're all into the stands. McNabb's going up to grab.
That after the game is over, it gets out of hand like this. And you got to worry about a spectator.
That's assault. That's not part of the game. There's a fine line between being an aggressive player and committing some kind of crime during the game. I don't think this is a crime. I think this is a tragic, tragic accident. It does kind of look like a martial arts kick, but I don't think that isn't what we're having here. So according to CNN, one of the statements by the cops was, as with all unexpected sudden deaths, it's standard practice for police to investigate the circumstances fully and feed back our findings to the coroner. The coroner is somebody who talks about causes of death and does the autopsy. In the Johnson case, what will happen is the cops will investigate it. The medical examiner or the coroner will also add their investigation to their findings. And then they bring it before a special judge. It's not like here. Usually they bring it to the prosecutor. Here they bring it to a special judge who will make a determination, and they do this in all cases in violent, unexplained deaths. So, and that's what we have here. It is a violent death. I mean, for sure, because he was kicked in the throat. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with. There will be a final report. But number one, I don't think it's an intentional act that he intended to harm him the way he did. Number two, I don't think it's also culpable negligence, where he undertook something so dangerous. I mean, you really have to appreciate the danger and then avoid the risk. They just happened to collide at the same time, and they sharpen their skates in between periods. So those skates are sharp as hell. My heart goes out to the Johnson family, to his fiancee Ryan, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, in their arena did a special tribute where both teams got around a circle and, paid tribute to Adam. Just a sad, tragic loss. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer with our content genius, Michael Rivers. We'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?